What's up, Starcraft fans? Last time we did Nova with spider mines, the sabotage drone, and the holo decoy. This time we will do Stukov. We will use frightful flesh wielders so we can get more tanks. We will have infrastructure cooldown so we can have more infest stuff. We'll go with apocalisk cooldown because the apocalisk is a melee unit. And finally we'll go with mech attack speed just so we can shoot more stuff with the... I'm not sure if that's how it actually works, but you know, wouldn't hurt to try. We'll go with mech attack speed. So once again, we are on Oblivion Express. We have destroyed trains. Thank you to Endarth, Lucinus, and Peterus, Shadow Archon, who are supporting me in the Pulse Cannon here. Thank you to all my supporters on Patreon. Again, we will be facing the Invasionary Swarm, the Ground Zerg Classic. So let's start the game. Alrighty, so this will not be like the Nova video where the tanks have to shoot a lot at the trains. They will have to shoot a little bit, especially the first ones, but the siege tanks of Stukov shoot Volatile infested. The Volatile infested absolutely do count as units for Stukov, and they will be the ones that will count towards the stats. Now there's a bit of a dilemma here. The siege tanks do absolutely cost money, even though the Volatile infested are free. And here's the thing, the Volatile infested do count as own units. Yes, so for cost efficiency, should I count the siege tanks for this run? Meaning the cost I spent to get the siege tanks. Or I will also go for infested liberators this game. So the math for Stukov's cost efficiency will either be really incredibly stupidly good, because I'll just use the cost of producing liberators. The liberators are melee units and we'll use them for anti-air. They're melee when they have their fog thing. But the siege tanks, I'm not sure if I should include the siege tanks, because if I were to include the siege tanks, then I'm thinking it could have repercussions on other runs that it did. For example, Rainer, I used the vultures. Do I count the vultures in the cost for Rainer's melee units? For I guess Artanis doesn't have any. Zagara's banelings are free, so should I count the Baling Nest then, since the Baling Nest produced the Banelings for Zagara? For Voids, no, Voids are free. Abathur, no, they counted that. Yeah, it's gonna be potentially an issue down the line if I count the siege tanks, but only the Volatile infested actually deal the damage. I'm not sure. What do you think, guys think? Should I count the siege tanks damage? Or should I count the siege tanks, not damage, the cost to produce siege tanks for the cost efficiency stat later on? Let me know in the comments. I will probably keep track of it just in case you guys do want to. Oh, there was a question last time about Karak. Someone did mention that we should absolutely include a Purifier Beam for the damage calculations. I'm not inclined to do that at the moment, but I might change my mind later on. Either way, you guys can probably just add the numbers. You saw the graph of Karak. You can probably just add it yourself if you do think it counts, but I, for now, didn't count it. Use the apocalisk. The apocalisk is absolutely a melee unit when it gives those Zergings a hug. The broodlings, by the way, are also melee, which is why I'm not really gun shy about the broodling infestation on the buildings. They will absolutely deal a lot of damage to those rocks, and that's exactly what I wanted to do.
One of the trains is leaving its station now.
So you can see with the frightful flesh wielder prestige, there is no tech requirement to get the factory. I can just go to a factory straight away and start spamming those siege tanks, and in fact put them forward. And with the upgrade, with this upgrade in the tech lab, these siege tanks produce ammunition on their own. And I don't want to get too close, because they will start using their tentacles to attack the train, and I absolutely don't want to. I want them to just use the volatile infested. The volatile infested all count as melee units. So I actually wanted to maximize the usage of those volatile infested. You can see, yeah, these guys volatile infested, and for that reason, I've gotten the engineering bay and have chosen to upgrade infantry weapons for Stukov because that will improve the damage of his volatile infested, which are absolutely the damage dealers for this one. I've decided to supplement the run with the Alexander. It does have a bunch of ranged infested troopers, but it also shoots volatile, or rather regular infested civilians at the train, so that will deal its thing. I've infested my allies, my Adler allies, Purifier Conclave, so that, yeah, you see those doodlings. That's another thing about Stukov. The doodlings are absolutely free, and it's probably not fair that they don't cost anything. I guess the logic is the same with my non-usage or non-counting of the bailing nest for producing those free bailings, so I think it's fine. Next train will be coming from the far west. It'll be trying to run through these tracks and escape toward the far east. If you've watched the series, from the beginning, you're probably getting tired of it at this point, but you never know when someone new's coming in to watch these videos, so I will have to keep repeating it. The trains will come in from these far west areas. You can see my siege tanks safely in the rear. Of course, this one lurker just decided to mess with my setup, and of course it didn't set up that well either because the siege tanks were too close and triggered the Viper over here to use disabling clouds. Now I have to run it back. I have to keep... Okay, now they're actually having to whack the train right now using their tentacles. The tentacles will count towards siege tank damage, and the siege tanks are not a melee. You can see it's shooting at the train from range. It does not need a ground pathing to be able to shoot at the train as long as it's in range. That's why it's not melee. But the good news for me is that I can just position my tanks on the sledge, because siege tanks on the sledge are absolutely in range of the train, but the tentacles on the siege tanks are not. So you can see the volatile infested are still doing the majority of damage, and I will count that at the end. See how many of these guys I end up needing to complete this mission. For now, I'll keep the cost of the siege tank separate. As I mentioned earlier, I'm also producing liberators. These liberators will be my anti-air, so I will also have something to count against the mutalisks, the corruptors, the dude lord, and the scourge. For now, siege tanks on the high ground, wailing away at these waves, making them absolutely not a thing. Also have a bunch of these guys on the side so that when the attack wave curls around this ramp over here, they will come into range of these other siege tanks. But turns out my tanks are too great a number just on the high ground.
Heads up.
Liberators are ready. You can see I've started positioning these tanks over here. There will be tanks on this side, more tanks here. So I have a huge setup of tanks just waiting for the enemies to come nearby, and they will get shelled away with literal human munition. They'll be shot at with people. We're shooting at them with people. Ammunition is people too, guys. Let it be known. Just whack these trains repeatedly using people. This is inhumane. This is verifiably inhumane. Oh my goodness. If you stop to think about all the things that the co-op commanders do, it does start being really messed up. This random hybrid will attack my gas, so I just activate another doodling Meanwhile, I have these tanks here ready to shoot people at the train. Oh my goodness. That's so inhumane. That's so incredibly inhumane. Oh, got the tanks here. I might lose one. Oof, lost one. Lost another one. Good thing I don't count survivability here. I've pretty much resigned myself to the fact that you don't really try to survive with melees. You just kind of trade as favorably as you can. Of course, there are some commanders where you don't even trade, such as Abathur. But I just wanted to accommodate, since most melee units are trading units, not really retention units. Just put these siege tanks here. Of course, the retention, or the lack thereof for Stukov in my run so far, will also factor in later when they have to remake the tanks, so that will just increase the cost. That way, it's not as heavily penalized as if I were just counting whether everything survived. I'm just counting the entire cost of production. So just you can see these waves of people that I keep shooting at the Zerg. We shoot people at the Zerg now, guys. It's true Russian style warfare. Just throwing people at the train. Don't worry, guys. Those people were just passengers who are trying to catch the train. The siege tanks were just helping the passengers hop aboard so that they don't miss their travel time. Yeah, I got more passengers here, Amon. Oh, got another hybrid here, so I just throw a bunch of broodlings at it. Actually, approaching max supply. I think I've fully maxed out on upgrades of my Volatile infested. They are now +3. Yes, +3 attack on the Volatile infested. You can see why I chose not to count. Well, there are two reasons why I chose not to count the Volatile infested themselves on the cost efficiency. One is probably the more important one, is because they're literally free. So even if I choose to add them, adding 0 is literally not adding anything at all. And the other reason is because a lot of them are literally just wasted because they are timed units. So look at that splash though. People are so effective. Look at that people power. Inhumane people power. I use some more doodlings here. Just aggro those guys. Because again, there's no harm in using it. There's literally no harm in using it, for me at least. There's lots of harm for Amon, but there's no harm for me using it because the doodling attacks are just timed, or they're cooldown based. So I want to keep using the charges. Just want to maximize the value out of it. Meanwhile, next train is on the way. A bunch of Volatile infested over here, just literally wasting their lives. That's a bit unfortunate. Oh well. So just keep shooting at them. Throw people at your problems. This is what happens when you're the leader of a country. You throw people at your problem. Or you know, if you're China and labor is really cheap, you just kind of throw people at your problem. And hope that it's at some point enough. Also inhumane, but what can you do? What can you do? Let's run these tanks away so they don't poke the train too much with their pokey sticks. Did a little bit of damage, but it's fine. Look at all those Volatile infested go though. Oh my goodness. The hybrids trying their best to make the fight less unfavorable by lifting a few of those Volatile infested, but what can you do when you have a hail of arrows approaching you and you block one? Haha! I blocked an arrow! You say as 50 other arrows pierce your face. So that's essentially what those hybrids are doing. Haha! I blocked an arrow! Another set of attacks coming over here. Ooh, free infestor. That's good value. Got another wave approaching here. Again, trying to maximize this ramp over here. I'm not sure if I will need it, but it is here. in case I do. Just look at that. Look at that. Look at the damage it is being inflicted by those. Okay, now they're coming to range of these other siege tanks. That's fantastic. They didn't even get close. I'm not sure they even got vision of my defense. Maybe they did, but that's gonna be not. That's not gonna be very. How would you say this? Comforting? Seeing your enemy isn't really comforting in this case. Another melee unit attack. For the apocalisk, I'll probably have to subtract. We're counting damage here. You can see that it shoots a lot of missiles, this anti-air. I'll probably have to subtract like a standard 20 mutalisks worth of. Yeah, probably a standard 20 mutalisks worth of health. Maybe it's maybe not even needed. Maybe like 10, because I do have these liberators, which are anti-air, and will absolutely damage the mutalisks. Because they've also decided to sacrifice these SCVs to make more supply, to make room for more supply of siege tanks. Meanwhile, I have all these tanks. You can see they're just far enough that they won't actually. Well, that was bad micro on my part, but I kind of need to anyway. Trey still has several tons of health, so I kind of have to start poking it with those tentacle things. Meanwhile, siege tanks on this high ground area continuously poking away at these enemies. They got that invisible lurker. What do you know? Well, there's another one back, but this other train's looking to escape. Kinda hope it doesn't. That'd be kinda dance game. Either way, this attack wave is getting demolished thanks to all these volatile infested. So many volatile infested. Look at all that splash. Honestly, look at how much splash damage it's dealing. Bone strain goes down. I believe we only need one more main objective and we're done with this mission.
I reckon they're running out of hardware to ship. Almost got
So
it,
many
Commanders.
people. Just throw people at your problems. Oh my goodness. Just switch colors, by the way. You can see Stukov is a bright lavender. I was just wondering if, without the team colors, the Volatile Infested still look as green as they do. They look slightly less green, but not. Yeah, only slightly less green. Still quite green. Look at all that damage. Oh my goodness. How many people am I throwing at the train? Look at these trains absorb all those extra passengers though. That's a real PNR train for those of you who are in the Philippines or in Manila specifically. If you've ever been on the PNR. No, that's not fair though. The PNR does have stations. People do get on there. So I found one that's worse than the PNR. So there you go. More of these siege tanks throwing people at their problems, and that is game. Alright, hope you enjoyed that. Thank you for watching. If you have an idea of what else you could do, please leave that in a comment. Okay, now how do I account this? Total damage dealt is 292046. Multiply that by the volatile infested, 72.9%. We add liberators, 1.7%. We add the apocalisk, 10%. Then we subtract, let's say 10 mutalisks worth of anti-air. So mutalisk is 120 health, so 120 multiplied by 10, that's 1200. So there we go. Damage done by siege tanks. There we go, not bad. Here we are on the other stats. Let's check it out. Total cost. I made, okay, I'll definitely count liberators. So infested liberator costs. Frightful flesh welder. That's 105 plus 88. Oh, let me do parenthesis. 105 plus 88 Multiply that by how many liberators did I make? 4. All right. That's too ludicrously low. Oh my goodness. Siege tanks I made, well, 58. Multiply that by infested siege tank, fragile flesh welder, 140. 70 gas. 140 mineral, 70 gas. So 12. That's more like it. That's more like. There we go. I mean, it's not the lowest, but it's pretty respectable, I would say. Okay, now for the kills. Volatile infested at 66%. Oh, wait, let me do the parentheses thing again. 66%. We add apocalisk. Got 286. Oh, that's 20%. Maybe we should subtract some mutalisks. Let's call it 19%. There we go. Most of it's deletions with zerglings, so I don't think it'll take that much percentage away. And then the infested liberators got 2%. Modest. Okay, so since the liberators got 2%, let's also take away 2% from the infested for the apocalisk. So there we go. 86% multiplied by 3. That is 2.58. That is one of the highest so far. I mean, not Cigar level, but it's no, not even Vorazun level. It's somewhere between Vorazun level and Raynor level, so that's pretty respectable. Let's. There we go. Cost efficiency. Let's just add that. Let's just copy that formula, and we are nowhere near as efficient as Abathur still. These Brutalisks really don't cost anything other than 150 minerals, so or 100 minerals even. So that's insane. All right, so that'll be it for Stukov. You guys can probably get Stukov to rank 2. You can get Stukov as high as rank 2 if you vote for him favorably. So a poll will go up tomorrow asking you guys whether you like Stukov, Apocalisk, Volatile Infested, and Liberators relative to other Starcraft II Co-op melee units. I will see you guys next time.